Hey guys, it's Mac from Rev Robotics. We're here during our prototype weekend for Ultimate Goal. We're looking at some of the intakes that we've kind of been putting together. These are some of the quicker 5-minute, 10-minute intakes that we kind of just slapped together to get some concepts rolling and see what seems to be working with these discs. So one of the things that we wanted to try was we actually took our gripper from Skystone. So with Skystone, you didn't necessarily want to be able to attack the stones from the front when they were lined up in autonomous mode. So we wanted to kind of have something that could go over, pick them up, and then grab them and move with them. And so we wanted to try to kind of give that a go. This basically has just been set up. We just changed some of the limits and kind of have left the distances the same. And it seems to actually work okay for picking up these discs in the wider kind of orientation. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this exactly works. So basically you have like this link, you have a linkage with this on a little bit of a hinge. It's two bearings with a shaft kind of running through here. I'm gonna be able to kind of hold on to these. So more or less we just have it where it's in its fully open position. We close this down and basically this pinches the whole system together, which is able to hold this all in. And it kind of holds it okay with a single one, and here you're able to shake it a little bit. The inherent problem actually comes in when you start to add in more of these. So you start going up to 2 and you do the pinch and then you kind of go ahead and then they're gonna start to kind of go around. So like you could see like your robot, even though it's a flat field, kind of moving around, and then this is gonna eventually go awry. And especially if like our original idea and kind of concept here was that you kind of pick this up and then move this probably fairly quickly, and you can already see that this one is kind of loose within the container. So likely there would need to be some tweaks and changes to this to be able to get it to kind of do what we wanted to do. Looking at some of the progress that we're doing on our conveyors, this might not be the direction that we want to be heading in because of how well some of the conveyor concepts are working. So this would need a little bit more iteration to kind of move from there. So if your team is looking at doing something like this, take this as a base, but there is going to need to be a little bit of thought and work on this guy. So we're just going to kind of set him aside for now and more look at what we've been working on with a roller intake. So this is really kind of a straightforward thing. We just have a couple of pieces of extrusion with a shaft and a stack up of our 90mm traction wheels and a core Hex motor driving it. One of the things that we've been able to find, if we can get this thing running here really quick, is the core Hex motor. It seems to work pretty well for picking these things up. The wheels themselves, or the rings themselves, seem to want to just kind of move with very little force. So you could see having this on the front of your robot with like a dead stop with this kind of maybe hinged or sprung down, just running right into these and being able to kind of suck them up. The one thing that has been kind of a little bit of an issue though is like, there's the potential of there being that force stack in the middle. So if you wanted to go in and pick off of those, this really doesn't do that great of a job of being able to pick up each one individually. Mainly because sometimes when you're running through this, it will grab onto 2 and then you can get into a situation where it's doing something like this. So you're gonna need to have a way of being able to kick out some of the ones that are a little bit higher or confirm that this is gonna be sitting at the correct height to be able to pick them up when they're in a stack. Like that. The last thing that we kind of wanted to try with one of these is that we were looking at doing kind of maybe one of the gear intakes similar to what was done with the FRC teams during the Steamworks game. And so with that, if we give this the same run, really we were looking at having it where something would kind of be able to do this. So without having any compression on the top, these things really don't seem to want to run with this steep of an angle for these wheels. So what we would likely need to do is either increase the speed that are going into these wheels themselves and also probably cut down on the angle that these are working with. So probably switching from the 90mm wheels down to something that's probably 60mm or maybe even the 30mm wheel would work a heck of a lot better for what we're trying to achieve with this guy. So with that, we're going to kind of take some of the things that we learned here and we're going to go ahead and implement them onto one of our Mecanum chassis and then see what we can get from there. We'll check in with you guys back in a couple of hours once we get that prototype more up and running and ready to go.